Hello, my darling loves. So we have another beautiful sister coming into the space. And as she lands, if you're here and you're watching this, I really invite you, if you're in a position in your life where you have recently gone through a divorce or big breakup, and you have decided to come into your own power. You have recognized that there have been years where you have not been able to set boundaries. You haven't had a backbone. You haven't been in your voice, in your truth, and you're choosing that that's a path that you want, but you have no idea how. And you are somewhere in between finding yourself again and then really bringing that consciously into your new partnership or the new life you're creating. Please listen into this. We have a gorgeous sister. Her name's Alice, who's going to land in, and just a little summary of where she began. When she started SEM, she was single mama in her late 20s, and she had just come through a divorce. And she really was choosing her path of finding her own backbone, finding her own truth, finding her own boundaries, and exploring how she could bring that into a new partnership and into her life for the first time. So I'm super excited for her to join. And yeah, please take some space and listen, particularly if you are a single mama, you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you've come through a separation and you are wanting to come back into yourself and want to find boundaries and want to be in that state. Yeah, I'm so excited to see all the things she will have to share. So stay tuned with us. Okay, my love. So welcome to the space. Please introduce yourself, land yourself in.
So I'm Alice. I am 27 and I am born and bred from Devon, here in the heart of the United Kingdom.
Beautiful baby. I love it. Our British girls, always exciting. Um, so let's just dive right into your journey, because that's really why I would love us to be here. So just take a moment if you have the space and breathe into your body and put yourself where you were about 4 months ago before you started SEM. Just feeling a bit of what your situation was, your connection with your body, your relationship status, your mental health, your emotional state. I would love for you to share what was actually happening for you during that time of your life.
So I'd say for me, about 4 months ago, I was relatively fresh out of a 10-year relationship. I had literally done a 360 on my life and found the courage to leave and become a single mum, move back in with family and kind of just start my life again, which of course is extremely terrifying. I was so anxious. I have had sort of validation issues, I'd say, a lot of doubt within myself. Certainly an area of self-worth was huge for me. I really struggled with that and I would outsource a lot of my thoughts, my feelings, what I should be doing, what society would say I should have or should be at in my life, especially being sort of approaching my 30s as well. And of course, being a new mum to a 3-year-old. So it was a full transformation for me in the sense of really knowing I needed support, but just kind of knowing, not basic therapy or typical norms, but knowing I needed something deeper, something more on a spiritual level, but also something that would transform, sort of connecting the mind, the body, and the spirit all through one. And really finding something that would not only come through from an outsource, but bringing that in source into the heart of where I am and dropping right back in and trusting myself again.
Oh, okay. Also, always so beautiful. I love these calls because it's a reminder, but also to see you in the process. And it's sort of curious. a couple things that you touched on, and I always love to like dive deeper into them. It sounds like one, there was like a lot of lack of self-trust inside yourself. And also a wanting to integrate. And again, I love it. Like you're like, no talk therapy. Like that's a really important one because a lot of women after like a divorce or a big breakup, we go to a therapist, right? And we seek that. So I'm kind of curious to know why for you, one, where was that like lack of self-trust coming from? And also why did you feel it was important to do deeper work, not just sort of therapy work?
Mm. It's a really good question. I'd say for me, I found when you're doing like talking therapy or anything of that description, it's sterile, it's clinical, it's not heart-led. It's all you are something on a piece of paper, something to be tracked and progressed over. Whereas I think if you want something that's genuinely meaningful, something that can stand the test of time, that transformation, it is a combination of all three, but especially the spiritual part and the emotional side. We talk about emotions as though they're a black and white, but they're colorful. That's the whole point. And kind of being able to, I think the trust part for me was knowing I was operating from my masculine, hugely masculine, and I had a complete lack of trust within my partnerships, which meant I had to trust myself. And again, a lot of that self-doubt and thinking, can I pull through? Am I even enough? Or am I too much? Um, and again, the outsourcing, though you do outsource, you don't always agree with those thoughts and feelings, and they conflict what you're naturally going through internally. And I thought, no, like this is just not sustainable. This is not a way that I can continue to live in a way that's authentic. And when you just feel you are destined for more
Yeah.
and getting right back and dropping into your feminine, I think I've fought it so hard my entire life. And when I have, it's not always been held appropriately. But half of that, I think, is because you're not able to fully show up for yourself, let alone expect others to hold you in that space as well, if you can't do that for your own self. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what brought me to a bit of a head and going, I need to alter my perspective and the behaviors of which I sort of held myself in my past. I wasn't proud of. I just kind of wasn't proud of the woman that I was, and it wasn't the direction I wanted to go. Um, so I think I just needed just a total transformation, as girls call it, a glow up. I mean, there's a glow up. We do that on a physical level, don't we? After a breakup, we go through the glow up, we dye the hair, we do the body transformation. But it's if we were to put as much work into the inner work as we do the external and the physicality, it's amazing the shift when you tie it all together, how beautiful that is.
Yeah. Well, like so I'm always like, fuck yes. But also so important as well, something that you shared, because I know it's something that I hear a lot with other women as well, is this hyper masculine energy where like you don't ever even let yourself feel you're feminine. It's like you have to be masculine, right? There's a lot that you have to do. And then there's also this complete like almost breaking down of personal boundary where you don't hold your own boundaries, you don't have that, we call it backbone, but that strong state. Do you feel like that was something that you were struggling with, where you were like in your masculine but also felt like you had no boundaries or really struggled with boundaries as well?
Huge. It's been like a complete um dysregulated part of my life for as long as I've ever known, from childhood, from having a family of people pleasers. That's just kind of what we did. My job even is to people please, working in sales and service. A lot of my life is led in service to others and to make them happy, that nothing is ever too much trouble. But when it comes to me, I was just honestly surrendering and sacrificing so much. I didn't know what it was to have boundaries, and I immediately would put boundaries and my own self-worth in a same box and going, no, 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 I'm not worth of that. So I'll just do it to keep everybody happy. but it made me bitter and resentful. And that went from childhood to friendships to work, right down to personal relationships and romantic ones. And especially with newly kind of dating as well, to encounter some old triggers and my own triggers. It's interesting how they all correlate, and knowing that actually, I really have zero boundaries, and I've got to put some in, but in a healthy way, without kind of becoming rebellious and having huge outbursts, trying to do that in a healthy, manageable way daily, to just maintain your own sanity, but also your own inner peace as well.
Yeah. Like so beautifully put as well. And I think it's just so important because when we start with that kind of energy in our lives, it's one from childhood, two, it's really systemic, three, it's infiltrated every area of your life, right? Like work, friends, life. So yeah, firstly, thank you for just sharing where you were at. And again, if anyone is watching this and you feel like you are that person who is hyper masculine, no boundaries, it's a place where many women begin. I'm kind of curious to know now that you've gone through the portal. I know it's only 3 months, but in the last 3, 4 months, where are you now in your life? How are you feeling? What's been coming up for you in your experience?
I would say for me, I really want to say I have like no fucks given, because that sounds terrible, but I have kind of just embodied that having boundaries is so friggin' healthy and it's necessary. I feel I have more personal protection over my energy now. I can say no without having guilt or shame, and one of the series in SEM, Sacred Rage, for me was so powerful, and being able to express the anger and the frustration I might feel, but and again in that healthier way, but also saying no is saying yes to yourself. And that was a really key message I took away from SEM. And the amount of times I will say to friends, you're saying no, but what are you actually saying yes to? And that's the bit where you don't feel the guilt and the shame, and actually infiltrating that into, again, my relationships, and also even to my little 3-year-old boy. He's able to say no, and mummy doesn't people please, and again, that's another generational curse that is being broken, and that is so insanely powerful. And again, the boundaries, even in dating as well, there are going to be things, that actually just you don't want to say yes to, and you do actually go, actually that doesn't work for me. And being able to communicate that in a space that's healthy, and not in a way that's aggressive or attacking or defensive. So I'd say now oh my God, I can't tell you, the shift in my state of mind is just incredible, and the amount of peace that I have as well, and the say the power I feel in it as well. I feel really confident in putting a boundary, and it's not coming from a place of, oh, so sorry. It's no, that's just how I work. This is me now. And even my friends have gone, my God, are you okay?
Wow. Also, it's so profound, one, to hear it, and two, for you to reflect it, because I think I'm not sure exactly what triggered your divorce fully, but I'm assuming that was quite a big buildup for you, was just never being authentically you.
Mm.
How do you feel now in your journey, even in dating, communicating? Do you feel like that's shifted for you a lot?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I think for me, I've always been someone that's emotionally very mature. I've always struggled to have someone that can hold a full expressionate woman. We'll call it that. I'm extremely expressionate. I'm quite a firm, bold, out there character, but I am also, you know, I was very much in my mother energy and not in my lover energy. And really, that's where the basis of my divorce came from. And again, I allowed myself to step into that role. I continuously took that on and on and on, and it was not sustainably healthy. Then becoming a mother, well, then that was icing on the cake. And I was like, I can't do this for a fully grown man and my baby. I'm running out of battery. I have nothing left. Um, but really kind of where I am now with that and the dating and kind of what that reflects now. I'm able to lean and soften into my feminine energy and allow myself. The biggest part was allowing myself to be led. I really struggled with that element of my life of handing over control and saying, no, no, I trust you, and giving somebody an opportunity to show you levels of love that you have never fully experienced because you've put a blocker up from the get-go. So a lot of it is taking defenses down, softening in, and, being led. And it's incredible when you do that because you glow in such a different way and you're allowing your real man, your real king to step into his masculine and you follow as the queen. And it's so beautiful to allow a love into your life and to just allow yourself to go, you know what, I deserve this. And it's okay to be happy. And that's kind of where I am now.
Crazy, babe. Also, just so much. But especially the part where it's like, let yourself be led. Let yourself be in your feminine. If you have chronically been in your masculine your whole life and you've been the mother for 10 years, if no longer in a relationship, to then come through that and go through a space where it's like rewiring all that in your brain, but also then experiencing it in your partnership is so profound because most women just repeat that pattern forever and they don't know how to deal with the things when they get confronted or process it through their body or transform themselves at all. It's just like, I'm back in that seat again. So I guess a question I would have for you is what were kind of like the main things we did together to help you shift into feeling safe enough to soften, to finding a balance in your polarities, and bringing that into your new relationships? Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, what kind of got me there through SEM, the first part, the first module, loving yourself. When you truly love yourself, you truly look in a mirror and you're not searching for validation out of anywhere other than yourself and the mirror that is right in front of you. That's huge. Step one, major, before you even go diving into the deep stuff and unpacking all the trauma and the rage and the things that are tucked in there. The first thing you're looking at every single day is your reflection. And I would say, I had a moment this morning and I don't know where it came from. I was sat there going, we live in a world full of validation. We are a social media crazed world, which is great. It works for so many positive things, but you know the likes on your story, the likes on your Instagram, the how many interactions you have, all of it is about validation from the minute you look at your phone to the minute you look in the mirror to the people around you. um so actually validating myself, really clear. That gave me my self-worth to realize, hey, you know what, Alice, you're worthy of more. You deserve so much more than this. Go out there and find someone that treats you like the queen that you are. um, so I'd say the first module for me, loving myself, huge. The second part, sacred rage, stepping into that, the backbone, really, feeling that heaviness of that rage and being like, no, like, no, basically, getting comfortable with saying no. um, and I would guess that that last part is the integration, of how you take that into your daily life and really looking at who you are and what you want to be, understanding your hormone cycle. But I think a massive one, save best till last, is looking at your sensual self. And I think a lot of people, especially in the UK, we're a different breed of people around here. Sex is not something we talk about. Sensuality, certainly not. Um, we're a little bit, a little bit prude. But I was somebody that always struggled with sensual shame, guilt over feeling my sensual side. I had a family which were highly religious. So sex was a sin unless you were married. And even then, that was, sometimes questionable. So my relationship with my sensual side was definitely tarnished and I'd never fully appreciated it. And dating again, you're like, whoa, hang on. Okay. but wanting to experiment in my sensual desire in a healthy way. And I remember you saying at the beginning of SEM, you will become multi-orgasmic. And I laughed and I was like, yeah, right. Okay. And I would struggle with intimacy being in my head, not dropping fully into my body again, because I was in not in my feminine. And actually, I can now say I'm genuinely multi-orgasmic from someone that would like I would never finish. I really struggled with getting to orgasm. Um, especially in new partnership. And oh my word, like now that is, discovering that side of myself. No, I'm multi-orgasmic. I love my sensual self. I can love my emotional self, the physical self, and it's a continuous journey. And it is, as I said at the very beginning, it is about continuously showing up for yourself, just as you would anybody else. But that relationship with you, nurture it. That's all you have left at the end of the day. And if you nurture you, you're going to nurture everybody around you in such a beautiful way as well. And when you get to romantic relationships and you get to find your king, oh my God, what a woman they get to enjoy and to love upon. But you get to love those versions of yourselves together in just complete harmony.
So like so good too, just those experiences, because a lot of women, and I know it, it's like, yeah, right. I remember when we first had the call, I was like, oh, you'll be multi-orgasmic and healed. But like, I remember when I started too, and I was like, that will never happen for me. Like, good for them. But the deeper we go, and you touched on such, for me, like pillar to pillar, right? Big that inner union, man. Like the inner polarity is so important to have here because it's going to reflect in your world, like step one. But then the capacity, and I love that you shared that, for us to be guided into ourselves too. I think a lot of women, we don't even know how. Was that something, just question for you, like even if you wanted to be in your feminine, you kind of didn't know how and you didn't think it was possible? Was that a starting point?
Yeah, definitely. I've been someone that seeks to control in a way to keep myself safe. So my masculine for me was self-preservation and self-protection. I realize that now. And that is why I was in that space for so long, because I was so deeply terrified of, if I don't show up for me in my masculine, I don't have a masculine person around me to do that. I'm it. Um, so I think that's where it came from. But then, wanting to soften and be in my feminine, I'd lean in and then I'd be like, oh no, 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 I'm becoming vulnerable. And so becoming vulnerable means getting hurt. And then I would never fully trust. And it was, again, I was repeating a cycle from my childhood to right into my marriage, from marriage into newly dating, and never really giving anybody a chance to hold me, let alone me hold myself. And realizing I had to hold myself first in order to allow somebody else in. And also in the sense of, what am I teaching my child as well? Like, what am I allowing them to see? I'm a mother, I'm mother energy, and I'm not even in my feminine. None of it makes sense. So for me, eventually, yeah, learning to soften, I didn't know how. I had no idea how to do that, where to begin. It's not just about wearing pink clothes and pretty lipsticks and curling your hair. Like, it is about dropping in, looking at yourself, feeling your body, touching your skin, sensitizing yourself, when you are vulnerable, to actually sometimes give somebody a bit of an outline saying, hey, I'm getting vulnerable here. I'm going to allow you to hold me. And actually, there's so much strength and vulnerability when you allow it through. It's so insanely powerful and empowering to step into your feminine energy. It's beautiful. It can be alluring and seductive, or it can be light and airy and playful. And that's an area of my life I've taken myself so seriously because of needing to self protect, that actually I didn't know how to play. I didn't know how to be soft and to be fun. I actually forgot how to have fun. Whereas now I laugh like you wouldn't believe, and I smile with my whole face, and my eyes crinkle, and I giggle. And you can just see when I'm in that energy, my God, even I look at myself and go, you know what? Wow, that's powerful.
Oh, baby, yes. I'm like all the facets of the feminine. It's interesting, and maybe if you can say it in like a couple words from your inner woman, because I know your inner man was like, it's fucking terrifying
Yeah.
to be in your feminine. If you, now that you've been in your feminine, if you could let either your man or your woman speak, what would they say? Like, how is it actually for you being in her and also still with your inner man? I mean, he hasn't gone anywhere, but how does it feel actually allowing her to take up space? Is it so terrifying, or what's the feeling?
It's overwhelmingly safe to allow your feminine through. Allow it. Grant yourself permission to be in your true inner feminine because she's crying to come out. It really is that simple.
It's also so beautiful, the word safe. Like, crazy, because like it's always like the opposite in your head. It's like, that's terrifying, not safe, no one will have my back. No one ever had your back, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I often say it to women who come into the space, like, yeah, there's absolute truth why we're in our masculine. Like, it's not like, oh, she's just a masculine person. No, you've spent your life needing to be that. So to then ask that part of you to be vulnerable or to soften is like
Mm.
a major threat. But then the feeling that comes through, I'm glad you shared, because I also felt that in we do experience it where there's like safety and fun, and your inner man's, he's got you, and then the masculine around you's got you, and it's like, huh, okay.
Mm.
Let me ask you this. I mean, I know you've gone through a beautiful journey, but before you started SEM, was there anything that like nearly prevented you from taking the leap and joining?
I think a lot of it becomes time and I guess investment in yourself. Especially being a single mom, my time is so unbelievably precious and you know, and work as well full time. So when I'm not on mum mode, I'm working. So I guess those are the two things that kind of at the time kind of were like, oh my God, can I actually commit to this? Can I truly put that investment into myself financially and also through the energy of time? But actually, investment, what you might pay for a holiday for yourself for 1 week could give you a whole life transformation in 3 months. It's worth every penny. And as for going through the time, of course, you've got the playback recordings, you've got the WhatsApp support, you've got the women around you who are in that circle as well that you connect with. I've connected with women across the globe through SEM who have resonated and are in exactly the same journey as I am. And we're totally two different time zones apart. But, thanks to the replays, I've been able to access that at times that have been more suitable for me. I can take that up and with me if I've gone away somewhere. And again, I've been able to message and have like a one-to-one call as and where I've really needed it. So really, if you can give yourself permission, actually tell yourself, and I really had to tell myself this, I actually deserve this. I've been through hell and back. I deserve to put the time and the money into myself as much as I would anything else, because you know what? In the end, it pays off not only for you, but for everybody around you that you encounter.
So crazy, and also so freaking beautiful. It was my next question was like, what made you kind of pull the trigger and jump in? But that mindset is so beautiful, that, and I also learned it, right? Like, we as women are life givers, but we're givers of whatever's in us. And if we are dead inside or we are completely disconnected, it emanates into every aspect of our lives, right? Like, it's just there. So yeah, I mean, was there anything else that really made you feel like yes, or was that your main kind of thing?
I think for me, I got to a really dark place at the end of my divorce, and I really didn't like who I was. If I'm getting really vulnerable here, I really didn't want to repeat that with a new partner. And I was newly dating, and it was about to take sort of a journey of progression. And I could feel myself stopping myself. And that was sheerly because I was so scared I was going to repeat that same cycle, but I didn't know how to do anything different. So I knew I had a very healthy masculine male at this point. I had found my king, but I knew I was not living in my full expression as the queen he needed me to be, and also I needed to be for myself. So at that point, I went, I do not want to repeat any toxic cycles. And I certainly don't want to encourage them again in a newfound relationship and to go through the teaching that clearly God has got for me. um, I knew I had to do something, and something actually quite drastic. Not just talking therapy or listening to podcasts or outsourcing through Instagram and sharing reels or going for hot girl walks. Like, I needed something on a deep level to totally transform mind, body, spirit. And really, actually, when I step into my new life, I'm stepping in as the woman I am genuinely supposed to be.
Crazy. And do you feel that's happened for you in the space?
I'd say it's definitely an evolution. I think it's progress. I think, to have a 10-year relationship and a lifelong habit and behavioral system and change it in 3 months. I mean, it's certainly a beginning. It's certainly the first part. And never did I ever think in the 3 months that I would get to the end of that and go, oh my God, no, I'm different. Like, I'm a totally different woman. Um, I reached a new stage in my life where I went, oh God, we'd do the SEM portal and we would do the theme. And I would find that life would bring me the teaching in my actual life. It's not just a case of like, oh, we're going to learn about this now for like half an hour and we're going to do this practice and that's it. Like, you literally manifest it. So the amount of times I would message you and be like, um, this is happening and it's happening like right now. And I've had to, it's weird because we just did that on Monday and now Wednesday's hit. And all of a sudden, yeah, this teaching's coming in big for me. The backbone, especially, everything came in, the rage, the sensual desire, all of those things, all the shifting. Oh, I shifted alongside the SEM and it was on schedule at each point. So don't be alarmed that when you sign up and you say, yes, I'm going to do this, that it's just going to be in your sessions that you do it in. It will encompass every area of your life that you least expect. And you will have a full transformation at each stage. And it is scary, it is profound, but I can tell you it is so unbelievably worth it to be in the discomfort of change and, knowing that it's not that you're in the wrong place, you're just in a place that was stagnant and it's time for change.
Crazy wild, but also so good because if I had to respond in all of my years of doing SEM, I would say the same. It's like it's an ever shifting, transformative process. And there's now a method where we call it embodiment for a reason. Like, your soul will level up, your ego will die and rebirth, your body will transform, and life will begin to mirror it for you. And it's like, yeah, I loved every time you did a message, you're like, okay, so this one you're like, yes, baby, the universe is working. Final question. And maybe just feel into your body and see what wants to land and come through. But if you were opposite a woman who was on the fence and she was considering joining into SEM, but she had her hesitations and her things, what would you honestly want to share with her and say to her?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say for someone on the fence, I would honestly just do it. Just dip a toe. Because if you don't, you're in exactly the same place as you are right now, stagnant with no change, sat in a place where you're destined for more. You're just putting your own brake on it. No one's going to do the work for you. It's not going to come to you. You're not going to wake up one day and be different. It requires work. But when you step into each part of yourself and you realize that your life, what you've attracted in, and what you have the capacity for whilst doing that work, not only just waiting to get to the end of it, is a continuous healing, it's a continuous journey. When you realize that you actually deserve that. And you know what? Actually, it's not, oh, I shouldn't do that. No, you should. I don't deserve that. No, you do. And the people around you, everything, it just shatters the energy everywhere. The whole thing is expansive, you know. Why wouldn't you? Because we very often encourage other women around us to do things for themselves. We talk about self-care. This is the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. Forget the holiday, forget the new car, have the new life, have the new mindset, have the new spirit, have a rebirth. Just see what happens because it's genuinely, truly magical when it does.
I have to smile so much. Have the rebirth. Like,
Do
progress.
it.
It was the most compelling sentence. It's like, what's the vacation if you can rebirth yourself? But yes, like the best. And I obviously could not agree more. And it was also a journey I took when I first started investing into myself, was like, shit, but yeah, thank you for sharing. I couldn't even add anything to that besides to giggle and say yeah. Okay, my love, on that note, is there anything final you would like to share before we close this portal? Do you feel complete, or is there anything you'd like to put in there before we slowly wrap up here?
Do you know what? No, other than just thank you, because the change that I've seen in my life and even right down to family and friends, it's rubbed off everywhere. The bit where you get honest and you get really comfortable with sharing your life and the transformation that you're in. I mean, to the point that transformation brought that honesty and the conversations that were coming up with friends and family, led to my sister getting really vulnerable and sharing that she's gay, at 39. That that relationship we built because I spoke about the journey I was going through. And again, my friends as well, sharing some of these things. Maybe, have you thought about this? Have you tried this? And just the transformation has been so drastic. The love I've allowed in to my heart has been profound. And getting myself on a journey of, I'm not self-sabotaging myself anymore. And just through doing, SEM, not only through the portal work or just through a video call, but taking everything you've shared with me on a personal level. You've, bless you, and I've been through going to some really hard personal times and I've reached out. You've taken the time to just listen in and share. And the amount of times I nearly called it quits with my man, the one I'm meant to be with. And you've gone, hang on a minute. It's the situation, it's not the person. And you've been able to rationalize and calm and see things from a different perspective and just guide me through some really sticky parts. Um, wow, I've been so grateful for your kindness and your time and your energy that you put in to not only the SEM, but also just into our own lives as well. And we've come to share, and you've just taken that time to reach out. So truly, thank you, Am, because I would not be here in a healthy way had it not have been for your time and your love that you share. It's contagious, it's beautiful. So just keep being you, because it's just stunning.
Oh,
It's
thank
refreshing. I don't know many people like you.
you. Yeah, yeah. My ego always gets a little floofed and poofed. Make me shy. But no, thank you. And thank you for sharing, and also just for being so open. I say it like a million times. Like, for me, it's so my why. And it's such a fucking privilege to have women who are in it for the work and are willing to be seen, and where we can go to the real stuff. Not all of the, but like these moments, these experiences, these conversations, how can we actually transform our lives because we fucking deserve it, right? And we're meant for it. And like you so poignantly put, it's only us, right? And if we do have sisters and women and mentors and people who can come alongside and say, hey, like there's a different path, let's go for it, let's give it a go with no expectation but faith and perspective, it's such a privilege. Like, so thank you for being the most amazing sister. I never say clients, I'm like my soulmates. Daniel's like, they're clients, Emma. But the most incredible, incredible sister in the space. It's been amazing, babe. Truly, 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 truly.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay, on that note, for any girls who have watched till the end of this, as always, there will be a little link below if you feel you want to explore your journey. Please feel free to book in a free call. We are always here to land. And Alice, my love, thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey. It's been beautiful to hear and witness. Okay. Big hug, big kiss.